Limerock Park.
Hey everyone, mine's the white and green car there, and I did a lot of racing this week at Limerock because I had gotten a lot of practice in the week before in the GT4s. So I started out in the first race of the week qualifying really well. I qualified third, and things worked out really well at the start here because my good qualifying position allowed me to sort of stay ahead of a lot of the drama. It was drama that kind of was a central theme in this race because, here I am coming out of that first turn in third place, and I've got the fourth place car right behind me there, and I wasn't sure. I was keeping up with the couple of leaders there, but I certainly could not see any way that I was going to be able to work my way past them because they were just sort of as fast, maybe even a little faster than I was. And given their qualifying times and the kinds of times that I was able to put in practice, it just seemed to me like they were going to string out and spread away from me. And so the only question at this point was, would I be able to retain third? And that was a definite no. This is by, I think, lap 2. And, so I had to give up third at that point, and that left me into fourth. So then things sort of settled down. Many laps went by. I was able to stay in touch with the leaders and not let them pull completely away, but I was starting to think I might have to settle for a fourth place finish. But then I got, a bit of an opportunity here because the third place car that had just passed me, he made a mistake, and I think that kind of rattled him because I was able to pull away and make a big, extend away from him. So then I wasn't sure if I would be able to do any better than that until way towards the end of the race. The second place car made a little bit of a mistake, and that gave me a chance to sort of get up close to him. Now I felt like I had a chance. I felt like I just started pushing really hard because I thought if I could get up closer to him, then I might have a chance to make my way past him and pull for second because I was getting faster as the race went on. Except that I also noticed that the car was getting a lot looser going to the big bend here, and it just sort of went out from under me. So that allowed the fourth place car to come up right behind me. It's this red car. Now he's one of those guys that starts from the back of the pack and works his way up. He's wicked fast, and so that's how we haven't seen him until now because he had been working his way up through the field all along, and he was able to easily work his way past me because, like I said, he was so fast. If he had qualified, I think he would have just run away with this race, but starting from the back there, he was only able to get third from me. So I ended up with fourth place, which, oddly enough, I was sort of settling for earlier on, but then I went for the gusto, and by the end of it, I wasn't sure if I was really satisfied with this result or not. It was a toss-up. So I had to go for a second race. In this race, I had qualified well, and I had made myself up to third place by lap 13, and I was trying to work past second place, the number 17 red black car there, but I was having a lot of trouble because he wasn't making it easy, and the real problem came along when this other car, this fourth place car, came along and started to make an issue out of it. So things got kind of dicey for a little while. And I sort of knew that this guy in fourth place seemed to be going a lot faster than both of us. But on the other hand, the guy in second place was not going to give up his position easily. So when this fellow got a run on me, I just sort of said, you know what, go for it, dude. I was kind of thinking they'll probably take each other out, and all I got to do is pick my way through. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. As we come into this turn onto the, off of the back straight, sure enough, they started wrecking each other, but I was not able to avoid it at all. And yeah, that was probably, no doubt about it, that's the worst wreck I've been in the whole season. As luck would have it, the SimLab Production Car Challenge was also at Limerock this week. So I decided to jump into MX-5 and give that a go to sort of get back on the horse. And basically, that didn't work out right away either, because as you can see, I was trying to make my way past the slower class car, but, you know, I just don't see what more I could have done. I was over as far as I could, and I was well in front of him. He should have been able to see me, but the end result was pretty horrifying. Oh, that was not good. Fortunately, the production car challenge runs every hour, so I was able to go for a redo. Before the race started, I decided to repaint my car to sort of truly express my feelings on how things were going. But it turned out that I managed to qualify first for this race, so I got off to a really strong start. I had a good, well, I was kind of weak on the start, but things actually worked out pretty well for me because, you know, I was able to keep it clean as opposed to everybody else who was not able to stay on the track through the first part of the race. So I thought I might be able to run away with it. I mean, I had put in faster times than everybody else in qualifying, so I was hoping that it would be like a really boring race for a video because I just wanted to run away and leave those guys in the dust. But it was not to be. After the first couple of laps, these second and third place guys sort of were not were not falling back from me, and it was pretty clear that they were potentially faster than me. First, the second place guy got past me, but I wasn't just going to roll over because I knew I was fast enough that I belonged up here at the front, and I could potentially get that second place, maybe with some luck. If something, maybe bad luck for somebody else, but sure enough, by lap 3, the third place car had managed to, you know, get a run on me down the front straight here, and he does get past me here, and that pretty much ends that race because after those first 3 laps and I end up in third place, those guys extended their lead. We got way strung out. And I had to, did I settle for a third place finish? Actually, I was very happy to get a third place finish because, look, I didn't get any incidents the whole race. So, you know, this sort of gave me the confidence to go back into Spec Racer Ford. I qualified 4th for this race, and I had also tweaked my setup a little bit so it wouldn't be so loose later on in the race. And it was a little bit slower that way, but it was certainly a whole lot safer. And so I got off to a pretty good start. Once again, being up front pays off because it avoids a lot of the drama that you really don't want to get caught up in. So I was really happy to be in 4th place after, you know, the first set of turns. Now, remembering what happened in the first race of the week, where I took a little bit of a chance and things didn't quite work out for me, I decided this race I was just going to, take whatever I could get. I didn't want to take any wild chances, but sure enough, during the first lap, I was there in the, 4th place and sticking with the lead pack. So, I was in a good position, and the opportunity came up very early on lap 2. You're going to see that as we get down the end of the straight here. Tires are still a little bit cold, but sure enough, number 3 pulls out for a pass, and he manages to actually pull all the way around into the lead. And that sort of causes all kinds of mayhem with the former leader, and that gives me the chance I was looking for, brings me right up to 2nd place. Now I'm definitely going to take the 2nd place. I had no illusion that I could possibly reel in 1st place, so I wasn't even worried about that. But by lap 9, the guy who had been on the pole and who had been caught up in that last wreck, he had managed to catch up to me, and he was on the pole because he was so much faster than all the rest of us. So he didn't take long to just blow past me. That put me back down to 3rd, and like I said, this race was all about taking whatever I could get because I wanted a good finish, and I got a good finish in this race. It just sort of round out for the rest of the race. I ended up in 3rd place. So while this was the best finish I got all weekend, it was not the most satisfying finish I got all weekend. Race 4, I decided Sunday night I was going to race again, see what would happen, and race 4 was definitely the most exciting race of the weekend. I had gotten a really good qualifying time, but I found myself way back here in the grid, and I immediately figured out what had happened. I was in the top split. There were 4 splits in this time slot, and I was in the top one. And my goodness, these guys are fast and good. Not exactly clean. I mean, they still have their own problems with turn 1, even in this, this more advanced group. But I managed to get through relatively, well, only slightly scathed, let's say that. A little bit of damage there on the side of my car. But I wasn't really hurting anything. I was driving just fine. I think at this point I had managed to get myself up to 11th through all that carnage. It wasn't really all that good. And the big problem I had was that these guys behind me seemed to be a little bit faster. So little by little, they crept up on me and managed to work their way past. And we'll just sort of watch as that goes by. I'll tell you what happens. They both do get past me over the series of a couple of laps here, and that drops me back to 13th. And then the race continued on for a long time, and I managed to get myself back up to 11th later on. And it happened, I think, through attrition further up in the race. I never really saw what happened. But I was up to 11th, and when I got up to 11th, I started to think, well, I'm coming up on the 10th place car. I seem to might be a little bit faster. If I push, maybe I could get a top 10 finish. That would be pretty sharp in this top split. If you look up ahead here, that yellow and blue car that just spun out, that was the 10th place car. So by passing him, that puts me in 11th. This little dark colored car in front of me, that's the 10th place car. So I knew that the place where I was losing a lot of time was in West Bend. And that's kind of a dicey corner. You have to, be not fully brake, but kind of like be easy on the brake. And if you run wide, well, that can be a disaster. And guess what? That's exactly what happened to me. I ran wide, could not recover, and around I went. And I was able to recover relatively quickly. I was thankfully able to finish this race on the lead lap, but there he goes. That's that blue and yellow car that had spun out on the before, and so now he had managed to get past me, but he had another trouble up here on Big Bend, and I took evasive maneuvers and got past him, but that sort of gave him a chance to catch up, and he was right there behind me. So it was, at this stage, 10th place was right out the window. What's at stake here is who's going to come in last. I'm second to last. That guy in the blue and yellow car, he's last, and I don't want to trade places with him. I'm doing everything I can to stay in front of him. So, blocking is on. I'm going to, cook it through these corners as best I can. Now, there was a lot of damage on the car at this time, and the tires are completely shot. Well, they weren't completely shot, but they were pretty run down. So the car didn't seem like as fast as it had been. So even though I felt like I was hitting these corners exactly as best I could and like flying through them, this guy behind me, he just seemed to have a little bit more. And I don't know if his car was in better condition, it was, or if it was just like he had that motivation. He did not want to be last, so he came launching around on Big Ben there, and I was kind of taking it easy there. But coming up onto the front stretch, he had just enough. He pulled that draft. There was nothing I could do. I was going to try any dirty tricks or anything, and he just barely squeaked by. Most exciting race of the weekend. I'll see you next time.